All right. Well, Larry, we're into the new year. It is early February. We've got our January data, bit of a mixed bag. Some places are up, some neighborhoods are down a little bit. Overall, I've not had a lot of concern from clients in terms of tariffs, so we'll skip probably right past that. In terms of neighborhoods and those that are up and those that are down, I think that the big thing really is you have to dig into what's happening in your community. And I know both of us spend a lot of time talking with our clients and reviewing data on that front. What are you seeing?
Well, I'll go back. If you listen to what's happening out there in the media, the Toronto condo market is the worst shape it's been in
Yeah.
over a decade. And from a sales perspective, new condo sales are flat. They're hitting record lows month over month. More importantly, from our side, the resale market is down. There's a ton of inventory. From what I understand, we're running almost upwards to a year's worth of inventory in condos in Toronto.
Yeah.
Now, that could change quickly. I mean, interest rates have dropped substantially in the last year, and with a flip in the market, that could change quickly. But for right now, that's keeping pressure on the Toronto condo market, and that kind of tends to ripple out, at least in the sense of how people view the real estate market. But in reality, I think it's pretty concentrated within the Toronto market and that Toronto condo market specifically. Once you get outside of there, once you cross into Mississauga and start heading west, it's not as much of an impact. We're more of a single family home. Condos are a much smaller part of our overall housing mix,
Right.
and it doesn't have that same effect. So if you ask me what I see, I'm going to say that across every different city out there, there's ups and downs in both sales and price. And I mean that's ultimately what matters most to clients is how much is my house going to sell for and how long is it going to take. Um, I'll say markets like Oakville are fairly flat. Burlington seems to be a little bit down, but not enough that it would raise any concerns. More so statistically down because we have more inventory come on the market. Hamilton was fairly flat. And then again, once we drill down into those neighborhoods, so for example, John, you're in Dundas. Dundas is
Hmm.
performing pretty good right now. You
Yeah.
don't have a lot of inventory, and homes are selling. Homes, at a higher price point are selling, and
Hmm.
we're seeing that across the board. So how do I feel about it? I feel right now that we're on the cusp of starting to see positive activity. So I'm feeling a little bit better today than I did 30 days ago.
Well, that's good. You made a good point there when we're talking about individual neighborhoods and where there's low inventory, we're seeing strong and quick sales. You use Dundas as an example, and I think that's a perfect example. I've seen numerous homes just in the last couple of weeks, including a couple that I've been involved on. You wait for spring, and you have a lot of competition potentially, as other sellers might be doing the same. Would the outcome be different? I don't know. I can't tell you. But right now, with low inventory, my advice to sellers in this community was let's not wait for more competition for you to compete against. Let's get it up, let's get it sold. And we did so quite well.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm seeing the same thing. And my advice to my clients from the sales side is you should be all in on getting your house ready right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you should be listed and on the market today, but you should be doing all the things necessary to be ready. So we're ready to react quickly. Because I don't think the switch has flipped yet. I think that's still to come. But you're right, John. There's buyers out there that are looking for the right home, and if you've got the right home for that buyer, you could potentially have a quick sale and a good sale,
Yeah,
and not
I mean,
have a
I've
lot of
seen
competition.
several examples just in the last couple of weeks of houses that have sold anywhere between 1 and 4 days on
Yeah,
market for very strong
absolutely.
prices.
I've even heard, now I haven't encountered it myself yet, but I've also heard that multiple offers have been happening in
Yeah,
some areas. Now, I don't know if, again, I haven't dug into it a lot to understand what it is today, but is that happening because they're underpricing the homes? I mean, I have heard of a couple
to
that
some
haven't
extent.
sold. But on the other side, I've heard that, there's been multiple offers and the house did sell for a good market value. Not necessarily way over, but, where it should sell.
Well, and it happened quickly. That always
Yeah,
happens with a
which is
listing
always good.
or
Nobody wants to be on the
multiple
market for three
offers.
months,
Yeah.
if you can avoid it.
Yeah. Well, in getting the house ready, being on market, the market's very, very fluid, as you know, and I think
Yep.
most of our clients probably know, as we do talk about this a lot. But as you have a fluid market where things change quickly, that the right house comes up for you, or the right market conditions present themselves for you to put your house on market, you want to be ready. You wait 2 weeks, a month because you didn't paint or didn't fix this or that. You know that you might be missing an opportune window, and that window could be costly.
It could be. I mean, it's and then from the flip side of all that, from the buyer perspective, I mean, we can talk about what sellers should be doing, but I really think if you're in the market to buy, John, you and I talk about this a lot. You don't know you're at the bottom till you come back up again.
Yeah.
And none of us have a crystal ball.
No.
But if you're on that buyer side and you're looking and you're ready to make that leap to the next home, it's a great time, I think, right now to be a buyer. There are some good homes out there. I've seen a significant jump in the last 3 weeks in inventory. So we've
Yeah.
had more come on, and that's going to stagnate the price drive a little bit, which is again going to play more to the buyer side of that. So if you're a buyer, I'm not saying run out there today and buy a house tomorrow, but I'm saying now it's time. You should be looking. You should
Well, you should
start
be getting
be
that
in your planning stage.
pre-qualification. The rates came down again, quarter point.
Yeah,
I think there's a good chance that we'll see additional rate cuts. How many and how much, who knows? But the rate environment is certainly improving. And if you're starting to see stuff pop up, as inventory, as you said, is coming on and coming on quickly,
yeah.
there'll be some good opportunities in there.
So I mean, I want to say that there's a lot of positive things that are happening. I don't want to make it seem
There
like the
are.
market's blown up because we certainly have not hit that yet, but I have a much better feeling about where we are in the market today and what's coming. Even with all the noise going on economically and everything else, even with all that going on, I still find people have a much better comfort level right now with real estate in our market. So it's a good time if you're a seller to be planning and preparing and getting ready, being proactive. So when the market does happen, you can capitalize on it. And at the same time, if you're a buyer, I think there's some good deals out there to be had, and it's a good time to get out and look at homes where you're not necessarily going to be competing to get them, but you have an opportunity to get the home you want at a price that you're comfortable with.
Yeah, the headwinds with the tariffs. I mean that it's obviously on the radar. I'm not hearing a lot of chatter amongst my clients about it. Obviously, we talk about it, but it doesn't seem to be a big issue, at least not yet. And as you said, the market right now is, I think, in a fairly good spot. We're looking at prices that have retreated a bit from 2022. They've been relatively stable much of the last couple of years, but as that's happened, the rates have come down. So I think what we're looking at is, a bit more optimism and probably a more sustainable environment in terms of pricing relative to the rate and the mortgage payment ultimately that you're going to pay. So I agree with you. I think it's a good time.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think it's time that people should be out looking and be ready to, excuse me, be ready to get out on the market and finally get to that point that you're comfortable to make a move. So, I checked in with the office to find out where we are in showing activity. There's been higher requests of showings going on. There's been an uptick there in the system that manages that for us. When I talk to other agents, again, I'm talking to agents about what's going on in their activity field, and they're seeing an uptick in buyer activity. And one of the benchmarks that I like to use is I talk to my mortgage brokers all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from the mortgage brokers who are saying, yeah, I'm getting my clients calling me saying, okay, where are we? Can we get that pre-qualification updated, and let's get ready to go. So I've had several of those calls in the last few days. And when your mortgage brokers are telling you they're busy, they need a few extra days, that's a good sign.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I just had one today with a lender initially wanting an appraisal on a house in Dundas, and they canceled it this morning, said they didn't need it.
Oh, great. Well, I've
So,
had two that had to do that were conditioned on finance in the last month. And both of them, I mean, we put a condition in to make sure that the appraiser could access the home, but neither one of them had to go to do the appraisal. I guess they're doing them online now, and within
yeah, a lot of
24
desk
hours.
appraisals, it seems.
Yeah. So
And I
within
think
24
as
hours,
as
we went
market
from pre-approved
activity,
to approved. So it was good.
yeah, and as market activity picks up, I think we'll see more desk appraisals versus physical visit the
For
property
sure.
type situation, simply likely because they'll be too busy.
Yep.
But
So all good things there. I'm excited to see what comes for the rest of February. We're about a third of the way through it.
yep.
I think let's make sure we're preparing and being ready for what's coming if you're going to be selling. I think March is going to be exciting. I think we're going to see February continue to slowly inch its way up, but I think by the time we get into March, and particularly I'm telling people to work around that March break deadline. March break starts around the 8th, I believe, is the first day of March break. And that typically is the trigger for that spring market. And that's because you're within that 90 days, 120 days of a close of the summer where your
Yeah.
kids can finish up school, move into their new house. Let's get settled in and start the new school year and the new school and the new home and everything else. So we're about to hit that window. So if you are looking, whether you're buying or selling, it's time to get the ears up, start, paying attention to what's going on. Let's start having some more conversations and make sure you're ready when the time is right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting spring market. I'm confident of that. And I think there'll be some great opportunity for all on all fronts, whether you're a buyer or a seller. You're probably seeing a little bit of an uptick as a seller, and buyers are happy that rates are a bit lower, making things more, as I said before, achievable and sustainable. So until next month, um, happy selling, and we'll talk soon.
All right, man. All the best. We'll talk soon.
All right, see ya.